So I'm here today with Scott Newgent, and Scott Nugent, for those of you who don't know, runs a very large organization that we're going to talk about in a bit. But the reason I thought we should talk to Scott now is because he had, I think, well over 10,000 followers on Twitter, and he has been permanently banned, shut down from Twitter for doing some unforgivable sin that Scott's going to tell us about. So Scott, give us a little update. What did you do that got the wrath of Twitter on you, that they permanently shut down your account?
Well, I got my glasses on. I got to pretend that I'm not over 40. Okay. So there was a video that I had that I made that was basically, you're not trans, or you're transphobic if you're against children medically transitioning. And then it kind of transitioned into different slides of, pictures, actual pictures. I mean, we're talking about reality situations here, right?
You would see like in a medical textbook.
That you would see in a medical textbook. Absolutely. So because I showed actual true footage and, basically there would be one slide that, no, we're not medically transitioning children. And then there would be slides of, all these, 13-year-old girls that are having mastectomies. And then, no, transgender medicine is safe. And then you would see all the botched surgeries. And then, puberty blockers are reversible. They're just a pause button. And then you see, Reddit, 24-year-old saying, I have early onset osteoporosis. And so that was a bit too much, right? From a reality situation.
So it was because you actually showed pictures, which if you go to Instagram, you can see those pictures. If you go to TikTok.
I got banned on YouTube too the other day.
They shut down your YouTube channel.
They didn't shut down my channel. They took off my video, but I have it up on my website. And, the director, Maria, told me that, you need to do some kind of warning, because I'm used to it, right? I've been doing this for 2 years. So those pictures are just kind of like, our eyes and our brain get used to whatever we see. So it doesn't shock me. But, when I look at them, I go, okay, that is kind of shocking. But I got banned from Twitter for hate. I'm a hate organization. I'm a transgender hate, transphobic hate person. So
now, were you given any kind of warning? Like sometimes you get the warning, take that content down and, we'll reinstate you. No warning, nothing? Just you went to your account and it was just gone?
No. And here's the issue. I don't mix words. I really don't. And the fact that medical transition has gotten me to lose everything. I mean, I have to be really honest with that. Before, I got sick, I had a pretty nice life. Now I'm 48 years old. I ride a bicycle. I, work from home. I mean, I make, 1/10 of what I used to make. I live in a basement. I mean, what the fuck can you take away from me? You really can't take anything away from me. So for me, it's kind of like, I got nothing to lose. And I talk to all these trans people, and they do have things to lose. They do have careers. They do have this. And I'm like, well, fuck, I already lost everything. And so for me, I tell the truth, and the truth is something that a lot of people can't handle. So it is what it is.
Okay, so what's your strategy? Because you're really active, and some of the big free megaphones have been taken out of your hands.
I don't think so. I don't think so. From a strategic standpoint, here's the thing, Jennifer. Twitter has become kind of an echo chamber, right? It's kind of the people that believe in you follow you. The people that believe in somebody else follow somebody else. So it's kind of like we're all high-fiving each other, but and it's not a game to me. And I think that's why people do resonate with me, is because it is absolutely unequivocally not a game. What we're doing to children is wrong on a huge majority. I have 3 kids at the age that they're transitioning kids. I've lost everything. So for me, the echo chamber is, who cares? Twitter is actually putting themselves, from a business standpoint, they're putting themselves in a corner to fade out very, very quickly. So that actually is something that I would like to say thank you to Twitter, because it's getting me to the point where, moving on to, other voices. We need other voices. And, I even had this conversation with Maria, the director, a couple of days ago, and she's like, I'm afraid that you're going nuclear. And I said, well, Maria, somebody has to go fucking nuclear, because what we're doing is not getting people's attention. We're basically coming out with studies, telling people, showing people that all the studies that said that it helps kids mental health was wrong, switched, said, oopsie, I was wrong. We just came out with a couple of weeks ago that trans health is experimental. No shit. We're showing these pictures. We're giving people the information. 81% of kids that have gender dysphoria grow out of gender dysphoria. We're having kids right now. They're starting a suicide epidemic right now of 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds that nobody's covering. And so maybe, just maybe, Twitter did us a favor, because we're not getting enough voices. And to get more voices, you gotta shock people. And it's kind of my forte, right?
So where are you going to park yourself then to send out these shock and awe messages?
I'm not gonna park myself anywhere.
What?
The thing about me, Jennifer, is that I'm relentless. I have taken this on. This is a pit bull thing. This is why I was successful in sales, is because I will not stop until medical transitioning children is gone. Until people understand that medical transitioning is no different than plastic surgery. Let me tell you something. In my family, if you're over 50 and a woman and you don't have a facelift, people kind of go, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why haven't you got your facelift? I mean, it's just, and so I come from that type of family, right? Fake tits, eye jobs, whatever. My family's famous for them. I'm all for it. But it is plastic surgery. It doesn't help anything. And medical transitioning is plastic surgery. It creates a different shell, just like women that get up and put makeup on, they get their boobs on, they do all that kind of stuff. You know what? Go for it. You do you. But it does not fix anything. And we've been saying that. The studies are coming out. Wait a second. Medical transitioning makes mental health worse? Wait a second. 7 to 10 years after somebody medical transitions is the heightened point for suicidal ideation. Wait a second. So we're throwing all this stuff out there in the news, right? But we still have, the governor of Texas is taking $250,000 checks to throw off, these bills. I mean, there's so much corruption. There is so much that somebody has to go nuclear. Somebody. So.
Are you winning? Are we making a difference? Is it working? Do you think the tide is turning?
Yes, I do.
I mean, you've been at this for several years now, right? How many years have you been at this?
To about two and a half years now.
Okay, so are you encouraged? Are you seeing?
Absolutely, shifts? I am. Absolutely. And human beings are, we think we're all unique. We think that we're all different, but we're all the same. Emotions always pick up different things. We've got 6 different personality types, and you interchange economic, statuses and profiles in life. And then you pull in different situations and you can pull out how people are going to react. It's part of sales, right? It's part of business. And so what's happening is that one voice that used to be Debbie Hayton in the UK, which I love, she was kind of like, no, she doesn't even like to be called she. I'm a man that basically I do this for comfort, and she got attacked. And then we had a couple other people, and Buck, Angel said, I'm not really for this. And then you had me that came in and went, what the fuck is wrong with you people? And so we have and we're starting to get, like Aaron Kimberly in Canada. And so people are sitting back and watching the videos and looking at stuff. And, I talked to my sister a couple of days ago, and she watched a whole bunch of my videos. And she said, you know what, sis, I was having a hard time with, how they're talking to my child in school and watching what's happening. And she goes, listening to that gives me a voice. And she's a powerhouse. I mean, she is, holy shit. She would, turn, Texas upside down if it was affecting her child. And so us trans, just giving people a voice is making a huge difference, I mean, take a look at that guy, that business owner, that confronted the trans woman. Did you?
Oh, wasn't he hilarious? I mean, the old Vietnam vet.
Yeah. And God, I felt so bad for him. I'm like, this trans woman is going to kill him. He's going to eat him. But he didn't say anything transphobic, and so society does not want to be bigots anymore. We don't want that anymore.
Yeah.
And so we're more apt when you place something from a PR standpoint, when you place something about love, when you place something behind the unicorn farts and the clear bombs, people automatically are going to go, you know what, I'm going to side with love. I'm going to side with love. And that has been what's happening for the 10 years. Well, now you're starting to get the transgender people that are going, wait a second. These crazy motherfuckers like Morgan Ogre and all these, people do not represent transgender people at all. And, and we're sitting back and we're starting to become more vocal. So other people are going, hey, wait a second. It's not about love. It's not about love. No, it's not. It's the fact that, 20 years from now, if we keep on pace with what we're doing right now, I mean, can you imagine 18 to 26% of the population being transgender? Could you imagine? Could you imagine that? Do you know how much money that is? I mean, that clicks over the billions. We're in trillions now, right? So.
Wow. So where can people find you, since they can't find you on Twitter anymore?
Well, they can find me at TReVoices, TReVoices.org.
That's your website.
We've got a campaign going. We have a couple hundred emails going to Joe Rogan. We need the J.K. Rowling of the United States, right? And that is going to be Joe Rogan. But here's the thing: they're trying to cancel Joe Rogan, if you could believe it. He's getting canceled for trans issues. So for him to have somebody like the trans that like me on his show, he's got to have support. We've already sent him a couple hundred emails. There's on my website, you just click 4 times and get him on there. He's got to know that basically if he does this, that he's not going to swallow it under, and he's got to have that email just clicking, click, 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 click. If that happens, I predict that after the Joe Rogan interview, we're going to see a shift in transgender policies. We're going to see a shift, and we're going to go from a shift. And I think that we have a very short period of time, Jennifer, to fix this as an LGBT community. I know you're on Twitter. You're super straight. I think that's fucking hilarious, by the way. But we have a short period of time in the LGBT. We really, really do, to step up. We need to have leaders. We need to be on the forefront of fixing this transgender thing, because what's going to happen is that these parents that medically transition their kids and realize their kids are now suicidal, that their health issues, they've cut their life by 12 to 15%. When this stuff starts to happen, the hate that we are going to get as a community in the LGBT is going to be worse than we've ever seen it. We have to be at the forefront. Gays, lesbians, transgender people, all the people that they have been using to push trans ideology for profit, all those people need to be in the front and say, no, enough. Because
would you add the detransition people to that group of people that need to be leading the way, the people that detrans?
Absolutely, detrans people. And here's the thing. Detrans people are, medically transitioning so hard emotionally, going back and forth and back and forth. Not going back and forth. They don't. When they detrans, that is an emotional place. And what I'm finding is that takes several years to kind of come to a balancing situation. I'm scared for detrans people, and I'm scared for detrans people because our society kind of lifts them, or feminists lift them. People lift them to the status of kind of heroes when they're still trying to figure out, why did I do that? I'm trying to figure out how to live my life like this. They detrans with the idea that, I'm going to be who I was. Their voice doesn't go back, and they're not the person that they thought they were, kind of transitioning in the opposite. And we're lifting them as heroes and then kind of walking away. So what I'm finding with transgender people is that I'm worried for them. I'm absolutely worried for them. We need to have counseling situations. We need to tell detrans people that when you detrans, it's not a boom, everything's better. it's gonna get worse before it gets better. And for trans people, they are an absolute voice. I'm scared to death for them. I am. I'm scared to death. I spend so much time trying to find therapists for trans people, spending time on the phone, with trans people. I mean, people don't realize my days. I mean, I work full time. I've got 3 kids. I'm up at night trying to figure out, please don't kill yourself. Let's try to find you a therapist. Let's try to do this. It's okay. And, and the D-trans, they come back, well, I think I might want to trans back. Well, you know what? That's up to you. Totally. I'm not pushing you one way or another. But right now, let's try to get you okay. I mean, that's my life right now.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm frightened for the detransitioners.
Well, that's unfortunate. But that does make sense. Sometimes they think I can just flip the switch and my life will go back to what, whatever I want it to look like. And that's not the case. You are on Twitter though, through your organization, right? TReVoices does have a Twitter handle. Are you going to be active over there just so people can migrate?
No, I'm banned. That's run by Maria.
So that's run by one of your staff people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Twitter, this is the thing that I don't think people understand about me. It's a good and bad thing. I've got an obsessive personality. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? I won't stop until this is done. And Twitter has just fucked themselves because now they're on my radar. And, I'm telling you, it was the worst thing that they could have done, because what's going to happen is I'm going to get into the media and people are going to start to go, you know what? Now Twitter's banning transgender people for being transphobic. At what point? There's going to be kind of a tipping point. And if I'm able to create that tipping point, you can guarantee I will.
Yeah, and there's a big piece that you just sent me the link to in the Post Millennial, right? That Barbara Kay's written about you being banned from Twitter. So I can put that in a link after I post.
Oh God, I love Barbara Kay. Barbara Kay was one of the first people that I talked to.
Yeah,
she's just a riot. I send her everything that I do. I've never met anybody that is more upfront and kind of in her lovely version. My version of it would be, that's shit. Try this and try that. But she does it in a way where I read her stuff. I go, when I write articles, I go, well, that really hurt my feelings. And I come back a couple hours ago.
Yeah. And you guys are, I think you're kind of 100% volunteer run group, right? TReVoices is everybody's volunteer. So you need support. You need people to give you money, give you stuff.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. I mean, I got a little bit in the beginning to start it up, and a tour that I did, a whole bunch of advertising during the Kira Bell case. But yeah, I'm not really for money. A couple of months ago, I spent $700 of my own money. I'm not there for money at all. It's a soul mission for me. I mean, I've got to make something. I have to make some correlation to what I did and good. And not all, what the fuck, did I do? So I've got to touch that. So it's not about money. Of course we need, stuff, but I'd rather people scream.
And will you keep doing your videos? I mean, you've done quite a few really helpful videos, especially for like parents, like how to talk to your kids if they come to you and say, I think I was born in the wrong body. Are you going to keep doing those kind of sort of
I am
informational, educational?
Yeah, I am. I'm coming out with, I'm doing a video here in the next couple of days. It's going to be on the timeline of the studies and the studies that said that, it is beneficial and then it's not, kind of do it with reality. And do it kind of like a sales presentation. At the end, there's going to be nobody in the room that's going to go, yeah, I still think that medically transitioning kids is a good idea. I mean, you can't do that at the end.
Yeah, well, I poked around on your website yesterday and then this morning again before we spoke, and there's tons and tons of resources there. Here in the US, all around the world, Canada, the UK, studies, groups, support,
Yeah, there's it's hard to connect the dots, right? And that's why I think we're at this place, is placing this behind the idea that it's love and the LGBT and the unicorn farts and the glitter bombs. But if you connect the dots to this with the studies, with experience, there's no way you can come out of it. And so I was talking to Maria. I said, Maria, we have got to figure out a video that you can start and go, this is the starting point of studies. This is what is not studied. This is what is studied. This is what we found, and kind of piece it all together. When you piece it all together, you can't hide from it. When you can't hide from it is when you can change stuff. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks for chatting with me and letting people know what you're up to, and you know, they can find you now at your website.
yeah, I gotta go walk on the moon or something.
Yeah,
Isn't this cool?
I know, it's like
I'm
Spock.
having so much fun.
And your chair is really kind of Star Trek-y.
I know. I got a whole thing. Whatever. Thanks, Jennifer.
Okay.
Is that all we need?